Hi, my name's Tim Hofflander, and this video is called Fighting Cravings. Cravings for an addiction can at times seem impossible to overcome. But when we understand how cravings work, we have a fighting chance to overcome them. The first point is that no craving can last forever. FeedTheRightWolf.org noted that cravings are shaped like a bell curve. At first, cravings start out slow, but grow exponentially until they get really intense. Somewhere along this path, most people would end up giving in. As the result, they get used to an idea that they can never get past their cravings, and that their cravings will eventually get so strong that they will have no choice but to give in. In actuality, human beings cannot sustain any emotion or feelings indefinitely, and eventually any feeling or craving will decrease. So the trick to stopping addiction is to learn to write out cravings, to master a skill to stay away long enough for cravings to go away. This of course sounds simple, but as many addicts know, it is not easy to do. But over time you will learn that cravings do not rule your life, and that there is a way for you to write out a craving and return to your normal self without having to act out. And the high that you get from the success will be much stronger than any high that you could possibly get from any addiction. They also recommended breathing exercises. Breath is the only subconscious bodily function that we can consciously control. Think about it. You cannot control your blood pressure, you cannot control your pulse, but you can control your breath. You can take slow, deep, controlled breaths, and through that you can have a direct effect on your subconscious mind. This is a very powerful key to stopping cravings. They also recommended a book called Kill the Craving, which teaches exposure and response prevention, or ERP, to help people with drug and alcohol addictions. This technique is new to me, but you can read about it more at their website, feedtherightwolf.org. ERP works in the following way. You first identify a trigger, and as soon as you feel the physiological response from your body, you measure your pulse rate, which you would likely find to be a bit higher than your normal pulse. After that, you immediately shift into a controlled breathing exercise to calm your subconscious mind. Next, you review your personal motivation statements to remind yourself of all the positive things that you can bring into your life if you were not to act out. Then you measure your pulse again and note the difference. Last, but not least, you follow up with an act of self-care. Let's look at these steps a bit more closely. Perform controlled breathing exercise. After you record your pulse rate, follow up with a controlled breathing exercise. Simply breathe in for 10 seconds, hold your breath for 10 seconds, and breathe out for 10 seconds. Repeat it 10 times. Remember that our breathing is the only subconscious function that we can control through our conscious effort. Do not overlook this step. Review personal motivational statements. You'll have to do a little homework on this. Just sit down and write down all the reasons why you would want to get sober. What positive changes would it bring into your life? What negative consequences will you be able to avoid? Answers to these questions must be able to touch the bottom of your soul. When I read mine, I can literally feel the goosebumps. This is how badly you need to want to stop this addiction and get the good things in your life. If you are not going to feel the goosebumps, and if it is not going to touch your soul, it is just not going to be strong enough to make you choose life instead of addiction when you will be faced with real temptation. He continued, some of the statements that I used were, my dreams of having a wife and child will come true if I walk away. I will be stronger and more in control if I walk away. I will regain my self-respect and dignity if I walk away. My family will be proud of me if I walk away. I will be able to look into people's eyes and feel proud of myself if I walk away. I had each of my reasons written on 3x5 cards, which I would read aloud to myself during each ERP practice. Cards allowed me to be doing, reading, and hearing the message at the same time. Human beings learn the best by a combination of action, seeing, and hearing. We learn even better by teaching something that we already know to somebody else. So when you get a handle on ERP practice yourself, try to teach it to another addict. Next, follow up with an act of self-care. This is a very important step. You have to do something good for yourself when you're successful. Preferably, you need to get out of the house. One technique is not enough. I want to share one short story with you that helped me to put everything together and to stop addiction for good. Exposure and response prevention technique is great, but I think it would not have gotten the job done if it was used alone. Anyway, here's the story. One evening, an old Cherokee told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside all people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, greed, arrogance, lies, pride, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, kindness, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." So I thought, what can I do to feed the right wolf? The answer was not as obvious as it might seem. Over time, I came to a conclusion that if I took good care of myself, my good wolf would be stronger and my bad wolf would be weaker. Therefore, in addition to the daily practice of exposure and response prevention, I committed to the following rules. 8 hours of sleep every night. Eating healthy, 3 meals a day. Drink plenty of water, at least 8 glasses a day. Journaling about my triggers. Meditating. Morning and evening prayer. Avoiding dangerous situations. Think the acronym HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Mark Castleman, the founder of Candy Can, came up with an acronym BLASTED, which stands for bored, burned out, lonely, anxious, afraid, angry, stressed, and tired. When you're in one of these conditions, avoid temptation religiously and take care of yourself until the situation is resolved. So avoid dangerous situations. Get involved with your spiritual life and make sure you make room for it. During the vulnerable times, our conscious brain loses the ability to see things clearly. That is when our subconscious brain is more likely to take over. And we already know where this is going to take us. You can avoid vulnerable times by beginning to take good care of yourself. Simple things like getting plenty of sleep, eating properly, drinking enough water, and journaling to declutter your brain can go a long way. See www.feedtherightwolf.org for the complete article. Thank you for watching. My name is Tim Hofflander. Have a good day.